Welcome to Speak English for You.
Hello and welcome back to Speak English for You. I'm your host.
It is so great to be back.
Today, the topic of our episode is something that, it frustrates almost every learner out there. We are doing a deep dive into the mystery of fast-talking native English speakers and how to actually understand them.
Oh, it is such a huge pain point for so many people.
Right. So just picture this. You're sitting on your couch, you've got a bowl of popcorn, and you're, settling in to watch that new hit movie everyone's been talking about.
Say for a relaxing evening.
Exactly. And you've studied English for years. I mean, you've conquered the grammar books, memorized the vocabulary, you can write a perfect essay. But then the actors start talking.
And the panic sets in.
Oh, total panic. Your confidence just completely evaporates. Because what is coming out of their mouths, it does not sound like the English you studied. It sounds like this rapid-fire, continuous wall of sound.
A wall of sound is the perfect way to describe it.
You literally find yourself thinking, are they even speaking English?
It is an incredibly common and incredibly frustrating experience. It's that jarring moment where theory just sort of collides with reality.
Yeah, because you're expecting something entirely different.
Right. You expect the pristine, carefully enunciated language of the classroom, but instead you are hit with the messy, chaotic reality of everyday human speech.
Which is overwhelming.
Totally. But the sources we are looking at today reveal something that feels almost like a conspiracy. Those actors in the movie, they are speaking English, but it's, well, real English.
Not classroom English.
Exactly. And bridging the gap between that formal textbook language and the reality of how natives converse, it requires a fundamental shift in how you process audio. We have to essentially deprogram the way you were taught to listen.
So based on the material, the very first thing we have to unlearn is the instinct to catch every single word.
Yes.
When I first read that, my brain kind of short-circuited a little bit. I mean, we spend years in classrooms taking dictation.
Oh, meticulously writing down every syllable a teacher says.
Right. So the idea that we need to actively stop trying to hear every word, well, it goes against every academic instinct we have.
But native speakers simply do not say each word clearly. If you are waiting to hear distinct, separated words, you are waiting for something that is just never going to happen.
The mouth just doesn't work that way.
No, the human mouth, when speaking naturally and at speed, is highly efficient. It cuts corners. In a classroom, a teacher might say, "What do you want to do?" Every syllable is distinct.
But on the street, that exact same sentence comes out as, "What do you want to do?"
Exactly. It sounds like one giant, messy, mashed up word.
And if your brain is desperately searching the audio for the distinct sounds of what and do and you're going to get completely lost.
The cognitive load just becomes overwhelmingly high.
Yeah, because by the time your brain realizes it didn't hear a hard T on the word what, the speaker is already 3 sentences ahead of you. It's like this compounding failure.
Which brings us to what we actually should be doing. The source points out that we have to hunt for the key words.
The meaning words.
Right. In that specific example, what I want to do, the only words that carry the core meaning of the sentence are want and do. The rest of it is just grammatical glue.
Auditory noise, I think the source calls it.
Yeah, auditory noise. Grammatical structure is vital for writing an essay, sure. But in rapid spoken communication, it becomes secondary. Your brain's primary job is to catch those heavy stressed key words and just fill in the blanks.
Kind of makes me think about how we process visual information. Like, imagine looking at a massive painting in a museum.
Okay, I can picture that.
If you press your nose right up to the canvas and stare intensely at one individual brushstroke, you completely miss the entire landscape. Staring at the brushstroke is like desperately trying to hear the word to.
Oh, that's a brilliant analogy.
You have to step back, let your eyes relax, and just take in the big picture. Let your brain assemble the rest. But wait, let me push back a bit here.
Sure, go ahead.
Isn't it really risky to just guess the rest of the sentence based on 2 key words? Like, what if you hear the wrong words or your brain fills in the blank with the completely wrong grammar?
Well, that fear of guessing is entirely a classroom construct. In school, guessing gets you a red mark.
Right. You either know it or you don't.
Exactly. But in the real world, guessing is exactly what native speakers do naturally, all day long. Their brains act as highly advanced prediction machines.
Really? They aren't hearing everything either.
No. When 2 native speakers are talking at a rapid pace, Neither of them is processing every single syllable. They rely heavily on those stressed keywords, and their brains automatically hallucinate the grammatical glue based on context.
Hallucinate the grammar. That is a wild concept to wrap your head around.
It's a well-documented phenomenon in cognitive linguistics. If a native speaker hears want and do with a questioning tone, their auditory cortex backfills the what do you.
They don't even realize the person slurred it into what a yeah.
Exactly. It creates an illusion of completeness. So when the source tells you to guess, it's instructing you to train your brain to predict language the exact same way a native speaker does.
Okay, so if our brain strategy is to ignore the grammatical glue, it really helps to understand why that glue sounds so messy in the first place.
Yes, the physical mechanics of it.
Right, like what is physically happening in the mouth to turn what do you want to do into what do you want to do? Because these aren't just random mistakes.
No, the chaos has strict rules. The phonetic phenomenon we are talking about is called assimilation and elision.
Which means sounds blend together, that's assimilation. Or they drop out entirely, that's elision.
Exactly. It just makes speech physically easier.
I like to think about it like driving a car. Formal written English is like a road with sharp 90-degree turns. Every hard consonant makes you hit the brakes.
And spoken English is like a race car driver on a track.
Yes. They don't want to hit the brakes. They smooth out the curves to maintain their speed. They clip the corners.
The physical mechanics are fascinating. To say want to properly, the tip of your tongue has to tap the roof of your mouth twice. It requires a micropause.
And when you're speaking fast, your brain just decides that double tap isn't worth the effort.
So the tongue stays put, the hard consonants soften, and the vowels bleed together. Want to effortlessly glides into wanna.
Which brings us to our second big secret. Learning the real pronunciation of common phrases. The source lists out a bunch of these, and it's crazy how ubiquitous they are.
They are everywhere.
Like going to becomes gonna,
Think gotta.
becomes got, lemme turns into lemme.
As in, let me see that.
Yeah, and don't know drops almost everything and just becomes dunno. I want you, the listener, to actually practice saying these out loud right now, wherever you are. Really feel what your mouth is doing. Gonna, wanna, gotta, lemme, dunno.
You can physically feel the difference. The jaw is looser, the breath flows continuously without hard stops. It is anatomically relaxed.
It is entirely relaxed. But, it makes me wonder, if everyone uses these shortcuts, from teenagers to news anchors, why do we hide them from beginners?
It is a bit of a disservice, isn't it?
It is. Why aren't gonna and wanna just taught as standard vocabulary on day one? We treat them like dirty secrets.
It really highlights a massive friction point between formal written language and spoken efficiency. Education systems need to teach the pure form of the grammar so you understand the architecture of the language.
But they often just stop there.
Right. They forget to teach the applied spoken version, which leaves students graduating from years of study thinking that gonna is improper slang.
When in reality, it's the standard spoken mechanic.
And by actively learning these sounds, your ears stop searching the audio stream for broken pieces of grammar. You stop scrambling to find the separate words do, not, and no.
You just hear the single unit dunno, and your brain gets it. It's a massive auditory shortcut.
It dramatically reduces your cognitive load.
It really does take the panic away at the sentence level. But what happens when the situation is even more chaotic? Let's say the speech is incredibly fast or the environment is super loud and you miss the key words and the shortcuts.
That is where our third secret, the ultimate safety net, comes into play. You have to rely entirely on context.
The coffee shop example from the source.
Yes, it's such a vivid picture. Imagine you are standing in a noisy coffee shop. The espresso machine is hissing, music is playing, and the worker says something incredibly fast.
And you only catch one single word out of the entire blur. Cream.
Exactly. Isolated in a dictionary, cream doesn't tell you anything. But because of your physical location, that single noun blossoms into an entire sentence.
Because you are holding a coffee, you instantly deduce they're asking, do you want cream in your coffee? You didn't hear the grammar, but you understood.
It's exactly like doing a jigsaw puzzle where you already know what the picture on the box looks like.
Context is the picture on the box.
Yes. It gives immediate meaning to the fragmented pieces of audio you collect.
But what if you are thrown into a totally unpredictable situation? Like a stranger suddenly runs up to you on the street and starts talking. If you don't know the context beforehand, does this whole system just fall apart?
Not at all, because we are rarely, if ever, in a true contextual vacuum. Your brain is absorbing massive amounts of environmental context before they even speak.
Like, are they holding a map? They probably want directions.
Right. Or are they pointing at the ground behind you? You probably dropped your wallet. But the source emphasizes that using context linguistically requires highly active, conscious engagement.
Wait, how do you mean active engagement? Isn't observing the environment something we just do naturally?
We do it for physical survival, sure, but we often forget to do it linguistically when we are stressed about speaking a foreign language.
Yeah.
You have to actively ask yourself, where am I? Who is this person?
What are we most likely going to talk about here?
Exactly. This proactive questioning activates a psychological framework called a schema. Think of it like preloading data into a computer's RAM.
Oh, okay. So once my coffee shop schema is activated, my brain literally pulls the vocabulary associated with coffee shops closer to the surface.
Yes, it anticipates words like hot, iced, receipt, and cream. So your brain requires far less auditory information to recognize them.
Listening isn't passive at all. You are aggressively predicting the future based on your surroundings.
You are co-constructing the meaning with the speaker in real time.
Okay, we've covered some serious ground. We know we need to hunt for keywords, use pronunciation shortcuts, and anchor ourselves in contextual schemas. But theory is only half the battle.
We need to know how to train our brains to do this automatically.
Right. And the source provides a very specific method for this. But first, let's put the listener to the test.
Let's do it.
I'm going to say a fast English sentence. Listener, do not try to hear every word. Just relax your ears and listen for the heavy keywords. Ready? Here we go. What do you think about going to the party?
Let's break down the auditory data there.
If you followed the mechanics, your brain probably latched onto two main stressed words. Think and party. And maybe the shortcut going.
And if you string those together, think, going, party, your prediction machine translates that into, what do you think about going to the party?
It is practically magical when you let go of needing to hear every syllable. To make this permanent, the source lays out a strict practice routine, a 5-minute daily gym workout for your ears.
And the rules are non-negotiable.
Step 1. Watch exactly 1 minute of an English movie or YouTube video. Step 2, and this is the hardest part, do not turn on the subtitles. Leave them off.
That is so crucial.
Step 3. Listen for the keywords and physically write down the 3 or 4 heavy words you catch. Step 4. Guess the full sentence. Try to reconstruct the grammatical glue yourself.
And then step 5.
Yes, step 5. Turn on the subtitles to check your work. Repeat this for 5 minutes every day for 1 week.
It forces your brain into a state of adaptation.
But I have to ask about step 4. Why is it so absolutely crucial to force yourself to guess before you look at the subtitles? Most people just want to turn them on immediately.
Because reading is a highly dominant neurological pathway. If text is on the screen, your brain will subconsciously prioritize reading over listening every single time.
So you get this illusion of understanding. You feel like you comprehended the audio, but you actually just read the words.
Your ears are just coasting along while your eyes do the heavy lifting. The struggle of guessing is a desirable difficulty. That moment of deep uncertainty is where the actual neurological learning happens.
Desirable difficulty. The pain is the point.
The friction is the point. Forcing your brain to predict without text builds the physical listening muscles. If you give it the answer immediately, it remains lazy.
So feeling frustrated during the guessing phase means the workout is actually working.
Yes, and when you finally turn on the subtitles and see your prediction was right, you get a spike of dopamine. That chemical reward cements the new auditory pattern into your long-term memory.
Wow, that completely reframes how we should practice. Well, let's summarize the main points of this massive journey.
We started with the panic of the wall of sound and learned to abandon the illusion of catching every word.
We embraced the physical realities of speech shortcuts like gonna and wanna. We learned to aggressively activate our mental schemas to use context.
And to practice daily, embracing the desirable difficulty of guessing. Understanding fast native speakers is just a matter of tuning your brain into the right frequencies.
Exactly. You have the tools now. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you, the listener, with a final, provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, what is it?
If native speakers are constantly dropping letters, skipping words, and relying entirely on context to understand each other, is the proper classroom English we are taught actually a foreign language, even to native speakers?
Oh, that is a wonderful paradox. The structured language of the textbook versus the living language of the human mind.
Think about that the next time you catch yourself saying, "What do you want to do?" All right, your homework is simple. Try out that 5-minute daily listening habit without subtitles. Thank you so much for joining us, And please remember to subscribe so you don't miss our next deep dive. Until then, keep speaking English for you.